And Kent, I'm not sure if you had a chance to introduce yourself, but I mean, as I'm perhaps the familiar face, I might, kind of let everyone know. So this is my good friend and colleague, Kent Falk. He works over on the account management side with some of our partners in the marketing space. And he's going to be sort of helping me run today's session.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'll be working as more of a moderator today. The one and only Alistair will still be the one kind of taking charge and going through all the different workflows that we'll be talking about today. So yeah, whenever we're all ready to go and we want to kick things off, Alistair, feel free to share out your screen and I can take care of all the housekeeping items to start off.
Yeah, that sounds good. So it's been a couple minutes here, so I'll fire up the screen share and we can jump in.
Perfect. Yeah, so for today, we're going to be looking at Textback Automations. Very powerful tools within the platform to make sure that even if you're not answering phones, if clients or yourself are busy running your business, running their business, those potential clients are still getting answers to their questions. They're still getting touched in some way, shape, or form, so they're not going on to the next competition. Before we really kick things off, I'll touch on a couple of housekeeping items. Alistair, if you want to jump to the next. So answer the question that everyone always asks. Yes, this is going to be recorded. It will be sent out to everyone registered for the event in a follow-up email. Please feel free to ask questions. This is a great time to ask them. Only thing we ask is we would love if you could use the Q&A function in there. It's going to just make sure everything is formed nicely and we're not going to miss any questions. And we'll be addressing each and every one of those questions, should we have time, at the end of the session. As always, you can access any past webinar recordings of this one or in weeks past through the Vendasta content library. So, yeah, as Alistair alluded to, so we might have a little bit smaller of a crowd today, but Alistair, he is our AI sales engineer here at Vendasta. He's very well known around the sales floor, around the company wide as just the go-to guy when it comes to any of this. So I'm sure a lot of you have been in these sessions before, so you can attest to how good he is at this kind of stuff. So he always puts on a great show. As Alistair mentioned, my name is Kent Falk. I'm an account manager on our mid-market and enterprise agency team. I'll be more of your moderator and helping with Q&A and making sure everything's all set up and good to go. But yeah, that being said, I'll kind of let Alistair kick things off here and get the session started.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kent. So, I mean, I'm going to maybe just sort of set the stage a little bit, talk about why missed call text back is important, why any business really should have something like this set up. And then from there, we're going to look at, right there in the platform, how do we set it up? How can we customize it? And other things of that nature as well. I've got, some neat angles and different things that I want to take you guys through. So how do you, as a consumer, find businesses in your local area? Well, I mean, there's so many different ways that, that one can, actually find a local business, everything from, driving by the location to going on Google to, checking out the website that you found on Google. All sorts of different things. This is meant to be kind of complicated. I asked ChatGPT to basically kind of make a diagram of, all the different ways that all the different potential top of funnel customer journeys, like what they could look like. And I mean, as we can see, it's kind of messy, lots of different areas. But what this means for your local business customers is there are a bunch of opportunities to lose potential business during that buying journey. As really customer expectations have shifted quite drastically, at least in the past few years. Well, nowadays, most people, if they call a business up, they're not going to leave a voicemail. I mean, I actually had to call a business before this, just to try to take care of something. It rang through to voicemail. I did not leave a message because, I mean, who actually responds to voicemails these days? Maybe some people, but I mean, me, like most consumers, I'm not super keen on leaving those messages anymore. And also, good chunk of calls do come in after hours as well. I'm sure some people check, but other people, either don't care or don't think to check and they call anyways. And many folks, like if they don't get an answer when they call in, they're gone. They're going to the number 2 spot on Google. They're going down the street, whatever it is. So it's really important that we engage with customers at that initial point of contact. Like up to 78% of customers end up choosing that first business who actually gets back to them. It might not necessarily be the first business they contact, but whoever actually responds to them, who has the best kind of speed to lead. Those are the ones that that ultimately win the business, pardon me, in most cases. And generally, consumers expect a response um, within 10 minutes, and also they prefer the ability to text back and forth with the business, as especially with the younger generation. Gen Z, they've graduated college at this point. Many of them are homeowners, so they're kind of fully into the they're kind of that generation. They're consumers, and we need to kind of tailor to the way that they want to buy. And a lot of these guys, Gen Z folks, they would rather twist their own arm off than pick up the phone and call a business. They want to have that direct back and forth, like text message conversation or Instagram Messenger, whatever it is, and then verify that that business can help solve their problem, whatever it is, and then and only then will they perhaps look at engaging over the phone or stopping by the storefront or whatever it looks like for that particular business. And in general, across the, these are some pretty heavy-handed statistics, as industries do vary a lot, but overall, it's looking like just under 48 hours is the average response time across the board, at least from sources that our marketing team was able to pull from. And you're much more likely to to win that business, 7 times more likely if you respond inside of an hour. And there's actually a 20% increase in conversion rates if you utilize AI. That's kind of something that we've kind of pulled from our cohorts of local businesses in our platform, just kind of looking top down, just to see those that have it, those that don't, and then there's that 20% lift from what we can tell. And I mean, these are great questions to ask yourselves, or maybe reframe and pass along to your customers, just to kind of get their minds working in this way as well. So like, how many potential customers are falling out of the funnel? How much time is being spent by your customers following up with leads? Like voicemails come in, people submit forms, all these different things, and they of course need to respond to them, but for many businesses, that's a manual action. They got to pick up the phone, they got to type out a reply to an email, they need to send a text message in response, and like how much of that time is being wasted by customers that don't ultimately convert. And then also, as time to respond increases, our conversion rates going down. My guess would be almost certainly. Now, this is a pretty complicated slide. This is essentially kind of just capturing all of the different aspects of the AI customer journey. All of this is available to you today through our platform, and a lot of these just kind of tie into products that you're likely already selling today. So things like the reputation management, or the Listening Sync Pro, or perhaps the AI web chat. And this is what we're talking about right now, the missed call text back. So essentially, what is that? As the name suggests, if someone calls the business, they get a text. And that text is going to be wired up to Vendasta's AI. So then if they reply to that initial text message that goes out, then the very same AI that's powering the web chat that might already be on the website is going to be responding to them, answering their questions, collecting any additional information. So, I mean, we've already got the phone number, of course, from the caller ID, but it's going to be asking for, their name and, kind of any other information that we've prompted the AI to collect. And I know we did cover that in sessions in the past, and we are going to be covering that again in this sort of revamped Workflow Wednesdays series. So stay tuned for that. But today we're going to be focusing on the missed call text back piece. And I'm sure you guys are sick and tired of staring at slides, so we're going to actually jump in and let's take a look. So going to just pull up the business app here. And to set it up, super, super simple. And we actually even have some instructions right within the platform to do it. So if we just go into, I mean, there's a few different ways to get here. I like to go through that AI tab. And then if we go into the configuration menu for the chat receptionist, we've got this respond to SMS piece here, which for some of you might be disabled. So it's going to look like that. So first of all, you just want to make sure that you've got it enabled. And then once you have that, you're just going to click on that settings button there. One thing to note before I go further, so this functionality does require Conversations AI Pro or higher. So we can kind of run the voice AI and the missed call and the text back in tandem. Many folks do. But if the voice AI isn't in the cards for that particular customer, they can definitely still run this with just Conversations AI Pro, kind of that mid-tier version of the product. So what this looks like is essentially we're going to have our customers set up call forwarding on their business phone line to have it forward calls to the platform generated number. And then we're going to select this end call button and then follow up with an SMS message. And then, so that initial message, that's going to be templated, which I feel like if, we don't have anything to go off at that point, just a phone number kind of has to be templated. But yes, then we'll just kind of write out our template, whatever we want to say, and then hit save. And then every time one of those calls gets forwarded, it's then going to end the call and then send them this this message. And another neat thing that we can do here as well is we can play a sort of text to speech voice message before ending the call. So we could say, sorry, we are unavailable right now. We are sending you an SMS shortly. We can answer all of your questions there. Or might also want to say the business name as well. Hi, thanks for calling. Something like that. Just because if we leave it kind of generic and we don't mention the business, that might leave people wondering, wait, who did I just call? Was it was it who I was trying to call, or was it something else? So just kind of a best practice there. Good idea to mention the business in that voice message if you do decide to use it, and also in the SMS that goes out as well. So then once we kind of have that set up and we're happy with it, just make sure to save, and then it should start working. But now, I mean, that's what we do in our platform, but there's also the the call forwarding piece, which does vary from provider to provider. But at the top here, we've got two sort of collapsible sections here. So I'm going to jump into the landline first. And essentially, this kind of takes you through the steps. And then this activation code that will come from the the telecom, whoever they have their phones through, and then you can set up that that call forwarding there. And most telecoms also have the ability to set up kind of logic for call forwarding as well. So like many folks will see them kind of using this as a replacement to to voicemail. So like if it rings 4 times, 5 times, or maybe the standard 6, then it boards the call at that point. other folks only have it working after hours. Other folks kind of have a combo of both, so it waits 4 or 5 rings during business hours, and it goes straight through if it's after hours kind of thing. Um, most telecoms are pretty friendly when it comes to setting up call forwarding. I will caution you folks that like if it's not possible to like set up on the landline phone itself. I mean nowadays they are pretty fancy. They've got screens and settings menus and stuff on them, and for the most part, you can do it like on the phone device itself, especially if it's VoIP, voice over internet protocol. So like an internet-based phone rather than like a traditional like landline based phone. Um, you can generally set it up and it's generally quite easy. But every telecom, they've got a call center support team. So if you're not able to figure it out with your customer, or if your customer's not able to figure it out, they can always call in. They might unfortunately have to wait a little bit on hold, but the telecom should be able to get it set up the way that it needs to be set up. And now on a cell phone, as especially in like the home services space, lots of businesses like they'll have the business phone line, quote unquote, be like the owner's cell or something along those lines. It's a bit more straightforward to set up on a cell phone. Essentially, here's kind of 3 different options, and these are just what you sort of punch into the dialer app on that cell phone. And it's kind of using sort of universal protocol like iPhone, Android. It'll work on either. So I'll take a brief pause here, just as I did see a few questions showing up there. Kent, were there any that we might want to speak to right now or before we move on?
Yeah, there was a question
Oh,
from
Kent, you just
Robert.
want to
Oh,
put yourself back on the thing. Yeah, there you go.
sorry about that. Yeah, we had a question from Rob regarding his rep saying that you can actually purchase custom workflows for clients and helping them get this kind of stuff set up besides doing it themselves. Just want to maybe hear a little bit more about that and kind of what's all included.
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have a managed service specifically for this and other things along these lines, pardon me. So it's our AI receptionist setup product through our Vendasta services team. You'll find it in our marketplace. And it's a one-time fee, and it'll go in. And if you scroll through the description, it'll go into kind of what the deliverables look like and things like that. So they'll set up the missed call text back, appointment booking, various other things in the CRM as well. To really kind of help create a customized AI automated customer journey, for lack of a better term. I'm sure there's a better name for it, but basically make the platform do stuff by itself to make your customers' lives easier and help them win more new business, in essence, is what it's about.
Great. And there was one more from Robert as well, just wondering what happens if a potential prospect calls from a landline.
So in that case, essentially, the like our texting system is able to identify that it is a landline number. So like it'll essentially try to send them an SMS and it'll fail. And that's something that we're working on currently to kind of include a like a notification system, or maybe a fallback workflow, if that's the case, just to ensure that no one's kind of slipping through the cracks there. One thing I would suggest you kind of coach your customers on is like maybe not all the time, probably not all the time, but here and there, just keep an eye on the Vendasta CRM, or on the Business Hub CRM, and the Conversations tab and the Contacts tab in the CRM, just to see who's coming in, who's engaging, who's not engaging. I mean, if they feel so inclined, they can jump on to any leads that seem to be good and follow up themselves. Absolutely. But it's more so just to kind of monitor and manage and make sure that that everything's sort of falling into place, and that these leads are being sort of handled appropriately. It should do everything kind of automatically by itself, but that landline component is a bit of an edge case. But as you guys can probably guess, number of landlines in households across North America is at an all-time low, and it's continuing to decline. Like, I mean, I personally have never had a landline in my house, and I know that a lot of folks my age, I'm 29, just for everyone's knowledge. A lot of folks my age are kind of in the same boat. I mean, I remember having a landline when I was a kid, but my parents got rid of that when I was in high school, just because cell phones are easier, more convenient. But I mean, I know the older demographics do like to hold on to their landlines, but I mean, we are working on kind of a system to ensure that those are being handled properly as well. But from what we can see, it's like less than 5% of these calls that get a text back are, our landline kind of thing. So like it's a very small number of leads at the end of the day.
Great. Thanks, Alistair. That's all we have for questions right now.
Awesome. Sounds good. So I guess I've spoken to kind of what we have in the platform today as far as, built-in functionality. These are the features. Here's how we implement them, that sort of thing. But in addition, I'm also going to take you into how we could perhaps, like if someone's using like a call rail or a dial pad or one of those like, phones as a service type products, how they can integrate that into our platform as well. I mean, they might be able to set up call forwarding. I mean, most will let you do that, but there are other things that we can do as well. So on that note, I'm actually going to jump into Zapier. Just so maybe some of you guys might be able to tell kind of where I'm going with this, but essentially what we can do is we can grab our our customer's phone vendor, whoever they might be. I'm just going to choose CallRail just to, kind of demonstrate how this could work. And then so we're going to want to choose our trigger event, something like inbound phone call completed, whatever seems to be the right way to go about it. And then from there, we're going to essentially just feed that into the platform as a contact. So we're going to grab either the Vendasta branded Zapier integration or the business app branded Zapier integration. They're both the same for those that perhaps weren't aware. And then we're going to just go in and create that contact in our customer's account there. And then we're going to want to connect the account group ID and everything using this. That's pretty straightforward, so I'm not going to waste any time on that. I'll do this. That's good. And then we're going to fetch phone number in from the trigger step from the call rail, the dial pad, whatever phone software they use. And then we're also going to add record source as an additional field. And then, I mean, there's other fields in here, which many of these phone providers, like they've got like some cool AI analysis stuff and other things like that. And typically, like, there's like if there's a voicemail, we can look at the voicemail and, we could, you can get pretty creative with it. Or we could also just look at, because most of them will have like, kind of call answered, true or false, yes or no. And then we can just look at that and just say if the call answered was false, then, proceed to feed this into Vendasta, one way. But, we can also kind of have like a branch in the workflow to have, completed calls do this, not completed calls do that, that sort of thing. So we could say record source, and this will maybe start to come together as I build this out for you guys. So we could say record source is call rail, and then we could also say record source drill down 1, and we could say call not complete. So then essentially, so we're giving it kind of 2 layers of data in the CRM. So the first layer being this came from CallRail, second layer being this contact originated from a call that was not answered, kind of thing. And then once you've kind of got your Zap finished and built out and everything, you'll run a quick test just to make sure that it pops up in the business CRM. So it should kind of show up as a new row here with the right record source. And then if you jump in, you should be able to see, kind of that record source drill down as well, just to make sure that everything's flowing through. And then once you're kind of happy with that and it looks to be working, then from there we can build out the platform side automations to do something with those contacts once they come in. So we're going to start a new automation here, and I'm going to on contacts is created or modified as our trigger. I'll do record source as our contact field, just as anything, whether it's a new contact or an existing contact, something should be happening to that record source, just to kind of account for the cases where someone already exists in the CRM. Maybe they called in before, maybe they came in via another channel, like they submitted a website form or the web chat or whatever it is, and we have their number already. So we just want to make sure that it's not only new contacts, that it's also maybe someone that inquired 2 months ago, they reached out to the web chat, we talked to them, it didn't go anywhere, that sort of thing. And then 2 months go by, they call back, we're busy, they don't pick up, or we don't pick up, and then we want to make sure that we're texting that person to kind of get them back on the hook, sort of thing. But then to quickly kind of jump back into the build, we're going to set the record source as call rail, or whatever the software is, whatever we set it as in our Zapier workflow. And then we can throw in a if else branch, and then look at the contact ID. Oh, yeah, whoops, there we go. And then the record source drill down 1, if that contains all not completed, we're gonna go down that side, and we're gonna add another branch here to say like call completed, or whatever we set it as on the Zapier side. So then we've kind of got a answered, not answered, and everything else. And for everything else, we should probably just shut the automation off, as this trigger can fire under a variety of different reasons. Like so we just want to make sure that we're only doing it when like letting it run and actually do stuff at the right time rather than any other time. And then in here, so under the call not completed branch, this first branch on the left, we can plain and simple just throw in a SMS message, and just something like, hi, thanks for reaching out to Pelican Market. Sorry we missed your call. Let us know how we can help here, and we'll reply immediately. Something like that. Basically, it could also be the exact same message that you have set up in the the product settings itself. So I mean, if you're using this, your customer maybe isn't using that other feature, but I mean, you can use both if maybe they have different phone systems and things like that. And then maybe on the call completed side, we might also want to send them a text message, but maybe make it worded a little bit differently. So instead of sorry we missed your call, we could say thanks for reaching out. If you need anything from us, feel free to text us here, and we'll reply immediately. Kind of acknowledging that a conversation likely happened, and that maybe that customer's problem or concern or whatever it was addressed on the call. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't, we don't know. But just something light and hey, we're here. Text us here, kind of thing, rather than like anything more direct than that. That would be my recommendation. Or some businesses might not want to send anything if the call was picked up, and that's okay too. We don't necessarily need to. And if that's the case, we can simply just, remove that branch from the automation. So we just delete that, hit save, and then, our 3-branched if else tree becomes 2-branched. So I'm going to take another quick pause here just to see if there are any questions in the chat. Or also let us know in the chat, like, is this something that you're using today? Is this something that you might look into using for perhaps your own business or a customer's business? We'd love to hear.
We don't have any questions in the chat right now or in the Q&A, but if anyone has some, feel free to put them in now. We can get them answered.
Yeah, and don't be shy. And even kind of while we're going here, anything that you got, yeah, just send it our way. More is more. All right. If that's the case, I'll also quickly kind of show how this can be layered into the voice receptionist. Just as, I mean, it's when the voice receptionist is in play, it no longer is really missed call text back, because no call is going to be missed. They're all going to be answered by the AI at the very least. And then, I mean, that call forwarding logic that I was speaking to before, that still definitely applies. So like if we just to kind of recap, go back into the configuration for that number. So if we did have that voice receptionist active, so let's maybe just jump into everyone's favorite demo account, Rabbit Groomers, as that does have voice AI, just so we can see kind of how that looks. And now, I mean, the way that we recommend voice AI to be used is, you don't necessarily want to tell your customers, hey, here's your new phone number. This is more so meant to be kind of behind the scenes in most cases. So they'd want to kind of utilize that same call forwarding to feed calls into the voice AI. And also one thing to note is that AI receptionist setup service that I mentioned earlier in the session, that does include setup of the call forwarding, I do believe. I don't know if I mentioned that, but that was just important to call out as, I mean, it is a very necessary, but also it's a very necessary step, but it can also be kind of challenging to kind of guide our local business customers through, just because generally they're not super tech savvy, or maybe they just don't have the time to be technical, or whatever the case is. I mean, odds are that's a contributing factor as to why they're working with you folks, as they would rather just have their marketing and lead handling and all that lovely stuff handled for them, rather than become an expert in the field if they maybe don't necessarily need to be an expert in. And then, so once that call forwarding is set up, we can also configure the voice AI to follow up with an SMS message as well. And that personally is something I'd recommend, just because it kind of, opens the door for engagement on that channel. Just as we want to be kind of, as putting ourselves in the shoes of the local business, making ourselves available to our customers and our potential customers through whatever channels there are, like kind of meeting our prospects and our customers where they're at, rather than like kind of making them conform to what works best for us. So like if they want to text, let them text. If they want to call, let them call. If they want to message on Facebook or WhatsApp, we should be meeting them there as well. I mean, but thankfully we've got integrations for just about everything at this point. So, you guys all do have the power to kind of get your customers there. And then, I mean, while voice AI really isn't kind of the main topic for today, we can maybe speak to it just a little bit. We've got the the capabilities that we can add, where we can kind of instruct it to request additional pieces of information, AI prompting wise. So if we put a new one in here, we can say, oh, collect every customer's name, something like that. I mean, I would suggest using Gemini or GPT or whatever your flavor of AI assistant is to, kind of help with this, because I gotta say, AI is very good at writing prompts for itself. In my day-to-day, I do a fair bit of prompt work, and without ChatGPT, I would be in a not so great place. I'd still be able to do it, I'm sure, but it's a tool that I personally use heavily, and our other prompt experts on the Vendasta team, we all use an AI assistant to kind of aid in prompt writing, just to ensure that it's comprehensive and specific and following the best practices and all of those lovely things. One thing I will mention, though, speaking of best practices, is collection of email using voice AI. It's a little bit tricky at the moment. So that's maybe something I might suggest we kind of proceed with caution on if we are working with a customer that has email as a hard requirement. What might work better is kind of setting up that SMS follow-up piece, as I mentioned, and then prompting the AI to say, tell users that their email is required to schedule an estimate. Let them know that they will be getting an SMS follow-up, and they are welcome to, and they should provide their email via that channel. And I mean, it's not to say that like email collection over voice AI doesn't work. It's, some people talk fast, some people have accents, sometimes it's bad connection. And, you know, like if you say the email out loud, just George at vendasta.com as to a human being, we can probably figure out how that's going to be spelled. But to an AI, the AI might get it wrong. And if we ask someone to sound it out letter by letter, like, sometimes an A might sound like an E, or, things of that nature. And then, we could tell them to use like a phonetic alphabet, but then like, putting yourself in the shoes of the consumer, would that be frustrating? I think so. So, just something to be mindful of, but there are ways around it if email is a hard requirement for your customer. All right. We are coming up towards kind of the end of that scheduled time there. So I just thought I'd take another brief pause. It looks like Robert perhaps had a question in the chat about how buying an updated workflow is. Actually, I guess maybe we can. Yeah, if you could maybe give some clarity on talking about how to deliver an update. Oh, so like, just so I'm understanding this correctly, so scenario, we've purchased the AI receptionist setup product, and we've, got our customer set up. We've got some workflows built out, and everything's great. It's all awesome. And then 2 months goes by, and then the customer says, "Hey, it would be great if this workflow that was built previously also did this other thing in addition to what it's doing today." Maybe making an update or like okay, yeah, that's awesome. So there are kind of some preset kind of like follow-ups and check-ins with that service. I believe there's maybe don't quote me on this. We'll need to double check. But it just is it's a pretty new service, and but like, so there's kind of like 1 week, 30 days, and 3 months or something like that. So there are opportunities for refinement at each of those milestones. So like, the team will follow up and just say like, "Hey, how's everything looking? All working good," that sort of thing. And there is the opportunity to say, "Hey, actually, I would like this," kind of thing. And I mean, if it's kind of like requests for additional work, there might be like, say, "Hey, we built these 5 automations and they're doing all these different things, but oh, actually, I want, you know, automation number 6 and 7 on top, that might be an additional charge. But like if it's like, hey, can we make a quick little tweak or an adjustment? I believe the team can just kind of take that on as part of that check-in process. And then Robert, we are working on additional options in that area. So like, we've kind of got the full comprehensive package as that first slice, just as we thought we should, try to productize it as much as we can, because, to kind of fill the majority of the needs, because we know that you guys need this sort of stuff. We know that, well, you understand the importance of all of these things. You might not always have the time or the know-how to get the most out of it. And I mean, that's why you're here on this call, and also why we created that service for you all as well. But yeah, more to come on that front. Stay tuned. And yeah, very valid points, Robert. If you maybe don't feel like a professional and maybe have an idea of what you're doing, but you're not kind of running at 100% there in terms of confidence, then I definitely do understand why you might want to put that into the hands of someone more knowledgeable. Alrighty. So think that might be it, at least for today's session. Unless there's maybe anything additional in the chat or anything like that. Sort of last call for questions there. If not, then I'll just we can kind of call it here, and everyone can get back to work and enjoy the rest of their Wednesday. All right, all
I
right.
don't see anything coming in.
Awesome. Well, thank you so very much, everyone, for joining us. It's great to have you all on. Great to have you all on, and we will be seeing you all very soon. Keep an eye on your inboxes, as we'll be sending out some updates for you guys shortly.
Oh, Edwin, I had answered your questions via the chat there. So the workflow Wednesdays, Alistair, I believe we're looking at bi-weekly now. Is that correct?
I believe that is the case, yes. And I'll maybe just quickly, okay, I don't know how to operate this thing, but I was trying to pull it up on the screen, but that's not working. But yeah, so register for each session. You do have to do it manually. We will send everyone an email beforehand as well, just to kind of give folks a little nudge and everything. But yeah, that's just a better way for us to sort of track and tell who's sort of coming and who's not coming. But you're all going to receive the email. So if you want to attend, please feel free. And it's just as simple as like clicking the link and jumping in. So like you can literally register like the minute before the session starts, even 5 minutes after. We're not going to lock people out if their meetings are running long or something like that. So it's effectively the same amount of work. I mean, just logistically, it's a little bit different in terms of the way it was previously. But yeah, so next session will be coming up in 2 weeks. We'll be in touch with with the topic and agenda for that one. So thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Thanks.
Bye, folks.